Hey everyone, so Attuma, the big fish boy, is the only champ from the Metamorphosis pool who, going into the event, actually received a buff. This is a primarily offensive buff, because, Atuma's always been a strong defender, but on attack he has lacked. And now with this buff in place, I'm not going to talk through all the buff details and that. I would rather just show the champion now, because I don't think many people used Attuma on attack beforehand, so it's not really great me explaining the differences. But he's still a very strong defender. In BGs, I've been using him a lot for some very easy wins if the opponent doesn't have a champ that counters his thorns. And he is actually a very solid attacker now against mostly science champions. He does some pretty good work. Now, this is rank 4 Ascended 2 Attuma. This is, unfortunately, this showcase is mostly on the old CCP map. However, it was actually at the end of this showcase when the map got updated, and I decided to go back in after the time and grab one more clip of one specific thing, but I will let you all theorize as to what that is, or probably just skip to the end of the video, because funny. But anyway, on to the first fight. We've got this Spider-Woman. The first one is just a rank 4, because obviously old map. Now, how do you play Attuma? So, you start off with these concussions. The amount of concussions you start off with is dependent on your SIG. Attuma is weird. So, essentially, usually, concussion would lower your ability accuracy. Attuma takes every ability accuracy reduction and makes it actually an increase. So, Tranquilize, Neutralize, Concussion, Archangel's Neurotoxins, Archangel's coming from July 4th. All of these get reversed. And essentially, he has a chance to thorns the opponent he has a small chance to thorns the opponent, and this increase in ability accuracy is what gives him the fat chance to be annoying. So, how do we build up these concussions? So, what we want to do is, every time we have a debuff on us, we want a heavy. These debilitate starting off. We can heavy transfer these into concussions. I'm going to do that in a second, and I did it a few times in the first fight. The second way we can build our concussions up is by throwing SB1s or SB2s. You get an amount of hydration from each one of these specials. So here we get 12 hydration. Hydration is good for a couple of reasons. One, it increases our attack. It gives us a precision over 10 hydration and an unstoppable at 19 or above hydration. What we can then do is heavy again to retransfer these hydration into concussion, throw another special, get more hydration, and it becomes a ever-increasing cycle. You get more hydration, more concussion, etc., etc. And that is how Attuma ramps up. So as you can see, that second Spider-Woman, we only needed to throw a couple SB1s because there are the extra debuffs in the fight. If there are not extra debuffs in the fight, this guy is a lot slower to ramp. It's why I would only recommend taking him against these particular science champions who, just give him ballistics amount of debuffs. Like here, quick heavy, we're up to 4 concussion. Quick heavy again, we're up to 6 concussion, which means that now we will be able to get quite a lot of hydration. We're going to go straight to maximum, we're going to go straight to 18 hydration. Get our precision up. We're going to transfer some back over. SB1 again. Up to the max of 20 hydration. Simple as that. And now we're doing big crits. We're getting some big extra thorns damage. We've got True Strike. Attuma gains True Strike on his SB1 activations, which is really nice for Spider-Woman especially, and a few other champions that we'll get to later. And essentially, this is the whole process. You want to just keep ramping up your concussion. You'll keep getting hydration by default by having high concussion. And, yeah, he just starts going ballistic. This is a 1.3 million health Spider-Woman, and she is getting absolutely nuked. We've got so many cruelties on us. You see, we get cruelties every time we throw the SB2 at high concussions. You get cruelty charges based on your concussions. And, yeah, that Spider-Woman got absolutely nuked down. Simple as that. So, the rotation really is, if there is extra debuffs, heavy whenever you get those debuffs, and then you want to SB1, drop some heavies again to get it back to concussion, SB1 again, drop it back to hydration, and then you are going to likely be at 20 hydration, you'll have your precision and you're unstoppable, and then you want to go for an SB2 to get those extra cruelty as well, and the guy just hits crazy hard after that. So as you can see here against Spider-Ham, we're heavy countering his SB1 just to get very easy easy stacks off of the concussion, get the hydration up, and now I'm going to just finish the fight off because it is simple as that. The precision is so good for him, it makes his crit rate very reliable, and that is the first Spider-Ham down. But obviously that was only a rank 4, so now let's fight what I believe to be a rank 5 or a rank 4 Ascended 2. You know, Spider-Ham is going to be coming from July 4th as an Ascendable champion, so I think that this is the equivalent of fighting a rank 4 Ascended 2, and Spider-Ham can be an annoying defender. Like, if you get caught without a counter, he's a bit of a dick. So yeah, Attuma absolutely washes him though. So here, we're going to go back, heavy, transfer to concussion, do it again, get more concussion out. You can see we're now at 7 concussion, which means when we drop the next SB1, we're going to get loads of hydration, you know, straight up to 13 there, which is really good. Heavy again, more concussions. I think you get the point of this part now. I'm using the Black Panther relic. The main reason for this is because every time you crit, you place a physical vulnerability on the opponent. And that is really nice because Attuma is all physical damage. You could alternatively go with a defensive relic if you're planning to use this guy mostly on defense. So yeah. Now, on to a couple more interesting matchups. Now, this one is an absolute chaos matchup against Photon. Because of your concussions counting as debuffs, Photon gets very angry when you do the conversions, and her charges start going through the fucking roof. Simple as that. We can also use the trick from Crossbones here to dash in on the SB1. And we now throw off our own SB1. So now we're at 7 concussion, 12 hydration, and now playing this fight is where it gets tricky. If you are a bit better than I am at getting the side steps off, you will be able to do this fight close to 100% health. But you will see that this Photon's just melting. One thing to note, obviously these fights are not included in equity, sadly, so this is more valid for questing content, which probably is one of the places you want to be using Attuma, especially those long-form quests. So yeah, that first Photon got absolutely wrecked. On to the next Photon, like a rank 5 one in BGs. And yeah, the process is just the same. We're going to give ourselves debuffs on purpose, and we're going to convert them all over. Here, I don't quite get the thing right, but I managed to catch a dashing in on the heavy, which is funny. We transfer some more of. We're already at 7, and Photon has activated her Pure Light. So now we're going to SB1 and quickly hit the sidestep. This will now run out all of her Pure Light mode. Another SB1 gets dropped. She throws an SB2, and now we will be able to pretty much just finish the fight out. You know, his damage, 24k mediums. We're going to drop another heavy. Realistically, shouldn't have done that. Should have just been going for combos. It gave her straight back to her Pure Light. But we land a sidestep, and it's fine. So, yeah, bit of a chaos matchup. I'd only really do that one in a pinch, but it's doable. All right, now on to a bit more of a weird one. Now, you're not going to be fighting 2 high evolutionaries in a row in pretty much any content. But what you might do is fight a high evolutionary and then need to do a fight after. And usually that's a death sentence because of high evolutionaries' devolve debuffs. You know, these debuffs, 1, just massively nuke your damage because of the addition of inequity, and 2, because of Despair, it can just flat out kill you against some champions. It's really bad. Like, essentially, if you get devolved debuffs on you, you usually can't do a fight after, apart from a couple champs. And this is one of those champions that can do fights after, because, well, they're debuffs. Like, they're debuffs, and they're not severe debuffs, so we will just play Attuma and transfer them over to concussions. Simple as that. You know, like, there's nothing to really worry about here. This first high evolutionary is absolutely dead. And now we're going to go into a second high evo, and I'll show it. We're starting off with 10 devolve debuffs, which usually absolute death sentence. But we're just going to transfer them over to concussions and essentially act as if nothing happened. Simple as that. So yeah, that's a nice bit about Attuma, essentially being able to fight after high evolutionary. Not many champions can do that. And you can see, like, it takes a couple heavies to actually transfer them all over. But, like, it's very nice. There are 12 concussions. And now we can go straight into a special when he eventually dashes in. And that is us up at max hydration immediately, you know, like, we do not need to mess around here. Now we just keep doing our usual transfer in between concussion and hydration, and he's being very stingy, so it's a bit of a slower fight than it should be, but I guess this kind of makes up for Inequity not being active at the moment. Into another SB1 I go. I probably should have dropped an SB2, but you can see this damage is, yeah, pretty nasty. And he just goes down, full bar clear. And yeah, that's another nice thing that Attuma has going for him. So next up, we are going to show against Quicksilver, because obviously this is another fight with a lot of debuffs, and also the addition of Evade. And one thing that Attuma has, if the opponent evades when he doesn't have his True Strike up, he will instantly go unstoppable and gain pretty much a bar of power. That's pretty nuts, because that allows you to get your True Strike up immediately after that, and you don't have to care about that evade again. So this guy is absolutely just wrecking any evade champions. And you can see we're already up to our concussions and hydration, and this guy's dead. Like, already. Like, he's already dead. I'm going to combo Relic combo and he's dead. Yes, a punch down, but still as just seriously effective champ against science champs in the short term now. Now, to show his long form content ramp, I'll be so real with you, I am terrible at this. I just am not very good at this. But the best place to show this off for me is probably EOP. This is not EOP. Necropolis Titania. Basically, it's in Attuma's Sig, but he has also some interactions with bleed. First of all, he reduces bleeds on himself by 90%, which is really nice. And also, if there is bleeds on himself or the opponent, he will do increased Thorns damage. Now, I know you're wondering, okay, how the fuck does Attuma put bleeds on the opponent? His SB3 places bleeds on the opponent. I nearly died here because ass. But his SB3 places bleeds on the opponent based on how many concussions you have. And then, if you have a lot of concussions and a lot of bleeds on the opponents, you're going to see some silly damage. Like, this is a Titania with nearly 8 million health, and the node where we're getting the weakness for dashing backwards. This champ is about to get fried. You know, Karate Mike also did a video on this, and he's a much better Attuma player than me. He also has the rank 5 Ascended too, so if you want to watch that, go ahead and check it out. It's a much cleaner solo of this fight. He does it in like less than 2 minutes, which is insane for 8 million health. Here we go, SB3 comes out, 40 bleeds on the opponent, and look at that damage. That Thorns damage was from her hitting me. That wasn't even from me hitting her. Sadly here, she goes into her Haymaker. If she hadn't have done that, she'd have died like instantly in this rotation, but still, look at the damage that is coming out. She's taking multiple percents every single time one of us touches the other one. And yeah, if that Haymaker didn't come out, she would be dead now. But that is me just playing the fight badly. So we're going to have to go for another SB3 to quickly finish this fight off. I'm just ramping my concussion up by getting as many weakness on me as possible. The Tranquilize node obviously didn't matter in this because it's an ability accuracy reduction. We just reversed that. Into an SB3 we go. More bleeds on the opponent. Not quite as many because we're only at 39 concussions. And you can see, though, the damage is still very good. We are absolutely nuking down. Like, at its max, it can do multiple 100,000s of damage in, like, a single hit, which is pretty wild. But yeah, this is essentially the long form loop. There's not much long form at the moment, but if you need him for some long form content, this is exactly how you do it. Except I'm ass. So yeah, good for short form, good for long form, and also is good for one of the new main threats in Ruby Thursday, and a multitude of other champs where you need True Strike, like we've already shown. Now, Ruby Thursday is just an absolute bitch at the moment, and this is a rank 5 Ruby with Collective, so this is a pretty fair matchup. The only thing that is bad for Attuma in this matchup really is the suppressions. The suppressions hurt him a lot. But yeah, apart from that, he absolutely coasts through Ruby, because we get up this True Strike here, and now every time she throws an SB1, I don't care, I'm just dashing straight at you. Here we go, SB1 comes out. I didn't dash in there because I'm stupid for some reason. But I'm going to transfer all of these over, and you can see we can just hit into that auto block. She's going to throw another SB1 here eventually, when she stops being stingy. There we go. We're going to dash straight in, and she fails everything, and we are just going to throw off another SB1. So yeah, this fight is completely easy for Attuma. It's not the fastest fight in the world, which is unfortunate. But hey, if you need a Ruby Thursday counter in a pinch, Attuma's doing it with very little thought. You just throw an SB1 essentially, and you don't have to care about any of her mechanics. You just keep smacking her. Like, yeah, it could be more efficient going for an SB2 at certain points, but hey, this is more just about keeping control of the match, because Ruby can go badly very easily, but Attuma just makes it pretty much impossible to go badly. Into the relic, into just a combo, and that Ruby is down. Full bar finish. No issues. Just get that first SB1 up, and she's down. So, Attuma is pretty decent on attack, mostly against those Science champions where there's lots of debuffs flying around. You could see in that Ruby Thursday match, he was a lot slower to get going. But yeah, this champion is a decent attacker now. Still primarily a defender. Still will catch people in BGs because, you know, you might not get a Thorns counter. So, I think he's solid now. Still not like the greatest champ in the world. I'm also not the best player of him, which is a good counterpoint. But yeah, this champ is solid. Nothing more, nothing less. Still remains a good defender. And has a little bit extra oomph on attack now. But make sure the opponent is giving you debuffs, because if they do, this guy's cooking them. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you all next time.